Good morning! Welcome to Options Tenor Weekend Update. You guys, this has been one heck of a week. But guess what? Volatility is back. We love that. As traders, you should love this. When volatility is up, the moves are bigger, they're wider, you can make more money faster. This is a day traders, a swing traders delight. Okay, so here's where the real traders step in and make their loot. We're going to go through a lot of things today. I have some bullet points over here to the left. There's not much there, but there's a lot to talk about. And I want to make sure that each and every day on Options Tenor that we prepare people for the inevitable. You're going to go up, but you're not going to go up forever. You're going to have these huge swings to the downside, and it's going to bring in volatility, and that's just what happened. And I left this note here on the side from last week. We knew we were going to all-time highs, and once we hit that all-time high, even though it hit faster than what we thought, we knew that monster move was coming, and it's here. Now, the real question is it over? And we don't want to keep throwing darts at a dartboard and just guessing and losing money, guessing for reversal. That's not what we do. You know, we do think there's going to be more upside before we hit the trenches. But we want to look for signs. We want to play options with the lower risks. That's what we're trying to do here. So pay attention if you're interested in this information. We do this every day, every night, and on the weekend. So hit the like button if you like this. If you don't, hit the dislike button. That's fine. That's part of it. But either way, let's jump into it. All right, here we go. So the weekend at hand, you say, well, anybody that's been following me, we usually start on the SPX or the ES and we go through multiple time frames. Well, I want to show you this VIX. The VIX is the volatility of the S&P. So we had this huge spike. That's as we were going down. And what the VIX basically says to us is it's kind of like the inverse of the S&P or the SPX, SPY, ES. It's the inverse of it. And so I'd like to take a look at this every once in a while just to kind of confirm what's happening here. Now, it is skewed. You see everything just spiking. It's so some people say you can't chart it. Well, I do disagree with that. Even though I don't use it very often, it kind of shows you when you're getting real tight in a range and it looks like you're ready to break out to the upside. Well, that's probably because the S&P has gotten to a real tight point to the upside and needs to have a pullback. Okay, so here's on the daily. I want to show you this on the 65, and this will make a lot more sense later on what's happening. Our move that we just made, is it over? That's kind of the question that we want to answer. And if we do, if charting really does work on here, we don't show a sign of the VIX headed to the downside yet. So we probably aren't going to go to the upside on the SPX yet. So here's what I'm looking at. If you do a small wave count here, this starts with wave 1, 2, and this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, and then one last 5. So in my opinion, after just a glance of looking at this, we have another leg up on the VIX, and therefore this gives us a clue that we have a little bit more downside on the SPX. Okay, and so whenever I say SPX, that means the SPY, that means the ES, all three of those because they go in conjunction with each other. Okay, so now let's get to our regular broadcast. Let's go to the SPX. All right, now we're going to start to move a little bit. And let's go to the SPX on the weekly. We want to check out the bar before we go anywhere else. We want to see from a bird's eye view of what's happening here. We broke down in 1 week, and actually it's like 3 days. We took away almost 3 weeks of a move. That's what happens when volatility comes back. They're bigger, faster, stronger moves. And we're just cracking through this pivot. We broke through this trend line. Rising pivot. I do that every single time I come on here. I struggle with the rising pivot. And we're also breaking through the 8MA. So we'll see where next week actually closes. It's always the close that matters. We close right under here. It looks like we're right at a support. I'm not going to draw that in. It's such a tiny minor support. But maybe we bounce here on Monday to go a little bit further down. Now, we don't want to play we don't want to guess. We want to look at the big picture. Do we go higher? I think we do. But from where is the question? Okay, moving on to the daily. Daily, we're going to do the expected move. Now, we love to look at the expected move here. It tells us so many things. We've been efficient this whole way up. And just this week, we really broke down from that expected move to the lower side. We came at it. We opened up, bounced really hard, couldn't get over the AMA. And that was a true sign right there that it's going to take a little bit more work. And we ended up breaking through and accelerating through the expected move. Okay, so now the market is getting to an inefficiency point. And so that's when you know that things are happening, things are rocking. So that's another sign. We looked at the volatility. Now we looked at the expected move. And here, the MACD, we finally made that true cross. And now we have some separation. And the histogram is pointing straight down. You don't see any reddish brown bars headed to the upside. So right now, we have to expect you don't put on any calls at this point on Monday until you see a sign of maybe a candle, a reversal candle like this. Okay, let things play out. I know how heroic it feels when you hit that reversal right on the downside. You nailed it to the T. Well, how many times are you going to do that? You're going to make more. You're going to lose more money more times than you make it. Okay, so let's put some lines on here. All right, trend is our friend, and we had this channel coming here. We've been abiding by this channel this whole time. Even nailed it right there. Okay, and then that's where we bounced, right? And this is where the tail of two charts comes in. The tail of two charts here on the SPX shows that we broke through this channel, and now we're at the 50 MA bouncing from there. Now let's look at the ES before we move on to a lower time frame. Let's go on the ES. Trend is my friend, same thing. And here's the tail of two charts. They're actually screaming two different stories. Now, I didn't just plot this channel here. If you've been watching my videos, you've seen that this channel has been here for some time. The only difference is yesterday, I took out the uptrend because I just want to show this a little bit more clear. So we're making our 1, 2, 3 and down to minute wave 4. So is this move over? Does this channel hold? Perhaps. Maybe we move down overnight to a lower low, but then by the time we open, we move up to the upside. We don't know that. We're just looking for clues here. So I'm not telling you to go long as soon as we open or to go short. We certainly don't want to go short from here. That you're just asking to get ripped apart. But we are looking for the signs. We have a lot more reading to do. But I just want to show you that this channel is technically still intact. All right, so let's move on to the 65-minute. Let's check out to see what happened yesterday. See where we can see where we're going. Look for a little bit more hints. All right, so we ended our wave 5 here to end our major wave 3. And we came down to an A, B, C correction. Now, so that says one thing in itself, that it might be over. We're still here on the channel bottom. You saw that I had these 2 ranges. Again, last week I mentioned these. I mentioned these 2 weeks in a row that I'd make these fuchsia bars. This one worked perfectly. Came down, popped through it, and went to the upside. And this one didn't get reached yet. So this is a major support here for us, because this is where wave 1 started. And usually, I say usually because the rules break, or that they at least bend, the wave 4 does not go overlap with wave 1 for those rules. Those are outlines. Okay, so maybe, just maybe, this move, we come down here and we make a lower low, touch that fuchsia or come near it, and we start a bounce, at least a bounce. And the other thing with that, what gives us another hint that a bounce is coming, is our positive divergence. So on the we made a MACD video last week to show some of these signs. Just check that out. I think it's only 7 minutes, but we're looking for, this is the bearish divergence that led us to this point, also at resistance, to the breakdown. And this is a positive divergence, which is not a buying signal. This just is an indicator that momentum for the bears is slowing down. This one was for the bulls. The bulls' momentum is slowing down. Bears took over. Now the bears' momentum is slowing down. Now, so this was they tricked us here. They came there. That was a fake break. And now we're looking for another attempt. And I did go long on this one. Just full disclosure. I went long, and we're still long Fubo at least. But now we're going to wait for another opportunity at support to try that bounce again. Okay, so where do we go? I got to change my expected moves. Let's go back to that expected move real quick here. We got to go on the SPX. We can do it on the 65-minute chart. That's fine. The expected move went from 73 points last week to 127 points to the plus side or to the negative side. So we're starting off our week right here, right now, right here. And we have 127 points to the upside, 127 points to the downside. So, we could theoretically go straight down here, but we have signs of at least a bounce. So maybe we go way up here. All right. I know that's kind of saying maybe this, maybe that, but we have to keep those in mind, and we have to show that we might not reach this bottom point because of positive divergence. Now, again, that's not a buy signal, but we may come down to start the week, just to end the week up to the upside. Okay, that's a scenario I'm looking for. And it happened over and over on this side, especially on Mondays. And I pointed that out in an earlier video. We would start the week off, headed to the downside, or to move all the way up to the upside. Okay, that's what I'm kind of thinking again this week. At least we'll keep it in mind. So thanks for joining us. I'm going to do a trade ideas video. We'll do some trade setups and ideas later on today. So keep an eye out for that. Hit the like button. Appreciate you guys being here. Thank you for joining Option Center. Goodbye.